Hi friends! This is DaintyTank. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back. This is Fatal 12 Part 33. We made it to 33. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did. Guess what? I did. Anyways, I'm trying something new. I hope that it's going to work. I apologize if sound quality is going to be a little weird. What I am doing differently is, as you can see my snowball in the screen. So instead of what I've been doing, which is on the desk, and it's kind of made me do this whole hunch over thing, now I've got it propped up on some stuff, so it's actually closer to my mouth, so I don't have to lean forward and hunch over and play games like this. I can actually sit back. You can see a little bit more of my reactions instead of me suddenly just pulling away and going, whoa, and then pulling back. So, also, it's abysmally hot, so you get to see my muscle too. And my hoodie. I like my hoodie. Anyways, besides all that, we got to learn about the mystery book of mystery that Grandma hid from us. Oh yeah, that old book. I've had it for 100 years. No big deal. It's Linda, the grandma's grandma, from England, which means Rinka 164th, I think? Somewhere around there. In terms of her English lineage, which means that's why she has blonde streaks of hair. I don't think that's how that happens, but whatever. We'll see what we learn from this. Also, let me know in the comments down below how the new setup does and if it still sounds okay, or if I should go back to hunching over. Either's fine. Let's get started. Load! Desperate. I make sure to open the store today after school. Been feeling better now that my grand's room is all neat and tidy. Once closing comes around, I go about my usual routine before bringing the diary downstairs to read it. As always, I make sure to handle it with the utmost care. And then I delve even deeper into the daily lives of Linda and Diana, the sister. So, Diana made the book. Oh! Alan finds himself staying at a hotel today. It isn't unusual for him to switch to one over the warehouse in Yokohama every now and then. The warehouse is perfectly fine for him. Okay, buddy. It does lack the facilities required to recharge his phone and laptop, however. Facts. Not that he can deny the pleasure that comes from sleeping on a comfortable bed. Oh, you are beat up. I can't bring myself to go today. Well, he has made the decision to visit Rinka yesterday. The store she was running was closed. Today, on the other hand, he simply can't bring himself to go. If proof was needed for the butterfly effect of missing one's opportune moment, this would be it. It would have no influence on Alan under normal circumstances, yet he finds himself unable to operate as usual when it comes to Rinka. My next chance may be my last. He collapses onto the bed and casts his mind back to the first participant he eliminated. Oh, get to learn more. Oh my god, do we actually get to learn? Chan. Hey, so we finally meet! May 3rd, Sunday. 3 days following the juncture of causality. Alan had been called out to by a lone woman. Alan had received the explanation about divine selection from Parsa by this point, but he chose not to go to Japan until after the first round. The woman standing before him was Chan. She was the one that caused him to forego his decision and instead come earlier. It wasn't unusual for people he didn't know to request appointments with him, considering his position. These requests were typically ignored. However, he had no choice but to take this notice when she brought up divine selection over the phone. Woohoo! While still somewhat suspicious, It was here he learned that a small number of people found themselves in the same situation as him. I am so glad you came, Mr. Alan. She stood a few meters away from him, her tone as confident as they came. In Alan's eyes, she seemed like nothing more than an average woman in her early 20s. Her apparel was simple, about what one would expect of someone on vacation. How do you know me? Oh wait! Hold on. How do you know me? Rather, how do you know that I'm a participant in divine selection? Come on, you know that you're famous, don't you? To answer your second question, sure, I'll fill you in. Just so happens that your name card was part of the initial cards I was dealt. Not many people with a strange name like yours, that's for sure. I've actually known you for a while, though. Do you remember a man named William Liu? It doesn't ring a bell. Figured as much. What's going on? Chen. Why is her name Chen? Bill, rather, is part of an advertising company that works with yours. He said he's met you in person, but I guess Mr. Boss doesn't have time to remember the lowly faces of all his subcontractors. Oh, you have a grudge. The more the woman spoke, the less Alan cared to be bothered. He was rather very good with these types, the ones who gradually drifted off topic the longer they spoke. Were she a regular businesswoman? He would have been long gone. But yeah, so I'm Bill's fiance. Okay, what's happening? Care to the point, Mrs. Chan. How do you know my name? I don't remember telling you. But you just told me, Chan. I recommend withholding your number if you plan to use an alias when phoning a company. Excuse me? After he said that, Alan took out a single card. Chan was quite familiar with the card's design. Number 6. Chan. She wasn't aware of the significance behind the numeral yet, and it was clear that her own name was written on it. I'm afraid I've already bore witness to the moment a new card is produced. Hey now! Isn't that cheating? Which is what happened to protecting people's personal information. Alan remained silent in the face of her panic. He was aware that nothing could come from interacting with her, as if things were normal. It's just my name, though. Hard not to discover something so common. More importantly, Chen, you fell to your death, correct? No way! How'd you know? It was simple, really. What the heck? Is this what? Cause death. Fell to their death. He was unable to determine who the car belonged to at the time, as he had yet to meet someone else in the court of fate, so he had started with her cause of death card. However, he soon realized that each participant had an identifying numeral after he came to possess Chan's name card. He had anticipated this by the nature of the personal cards containing information, containing the numeral 12, but with his, he was able to confirm it. Once he knew that Chan was numeral 6, he was able to link her cause of death and name. Uh-oh, don't tell me I just said something I shouldn't have. Her carelessness was a source of irritation for Alan. One shouldn't make light of their name. Of course, that'll advise you'll have to consider in the next life. Ho ho ho! Alan was already an atheist. What? What? Alan was already an atheist, but the teachings of his parents seemed to carry a lingering influence on him. Ah, got it. Huh? I don't know why you're acting like you know my regret, but... You were mountain climbing with William while on vacation. It was nothing too difficult. More of a hike than climbing, really. However, curiosity got the better of you, led you to veering off the designated route toward the cliff's edge, in hopes of a better view. Why? How do you know? Were you stalking me? That's gross. I can't stand gloomy people like you, even if I have have a handsome face. Besides, Bill's the only man for me. Oh my god, why? As for how you fell to your death, I think it's fair to assume you slipped. Truly the definition of foolish for such a thing to happen after entering an off-limits area. Shut it. Since you love talking so much, tell me how you know so much about me. I can tell you if you're clueless or if the panic is causing you to forget. Alan made sure to gather as much information on Chan as he could the moment he learned her name. He wasn't entirely convinced that divine selection was real, but the creation of the cards and the existence of the card book that removed all language barriers convinced him not to deny it outright. I was about to say, yeah, she spoke perfectly English, and Rinka talked English with her when she had her card book. Information provided one with the upper hand when negotiating. That was the conclusion Alan had reached. It was why he did everything he could to gather information on not only her, but her fiancé, William, as well, though he wouldn't admit to such a thing. Half of what he told her was information she herself had made public via rampant social media posts and updates. He Facebook stalked her. While the results of her fall had clearly been undone, it wasn't difficult for him to put the pieces together based on information he had at hand. Well, whatever, let's put an end to this farce. Jin wiped the sweat from her brow before whipping out a knife? What? What just happened? It was a butcher's knife, about 28 centimeters in length. Oh, her intent with it clear as day. I've got my life together with Bill waiting for me. I can't afford to die again. She raised the knife before dashing towards Alan. Alan's gonna beat you up. Mere 5 meters separated them. She would reach him at her speed in an instant. Chan was confident in her speed thanks to her having played tennis since childhood. We're learning all of the backstory here. What's more, Alan was a stereotypical rich boy. He had no means to defend himself, or so she thought. Were you not informed that participants cannot die via normal means? Alan dodged her with ease before twisting her wrist and stealing the knife from her grasp. He kept hold of her wrist, however, brought the knife to rest against her neck. How does this happen? Let me take a time out, okay? You just rushed him with a knife. What are you asking for a timeout for? You must not believe what the goddess said, I take it. Not that I would believe it before I've seen proof. Hang on a second, this isn't looking good for me, is it? I mean, I'll die if you slice me with that, but you'll become a murderer, you know? Alan could hardly believe the words coming out of this woman's mouth after her own attempt to stab him. He knew that would be no point in calling her out on it, however. I was about to say, she's got her own, self-righteous sense somehow, and she's terrifying. I'm glad that she didn't have too much interaction with Rinka there, because, would you like to be my test subject? Don't, please. Help! Someone help! Disastrous hardly began to describe what transpired next. Just as Chan screamed, William leapt out of hiding. He attempted to jump Alan, but Alan used Chan as a human shield. Oh! Here's your fiancé. As a meat shield. William could make no move in that situation, so Alan threw the knife away and pushed Chan toward him. They both fell over as she slammed into him, causing Alan to look down at them both. Tonight is your final night with her, Mr. William, Spend it well. Saying that, he took out a third card. Regret. Married life. Oh. No, my regret. You are without the doubt the most foolish participant among the 12. Alan had lost all interest in Chan by that point. He picked up the knife and tossed it back to them. The last thing he wanted was to raise suspicion by carrying it around when he'd only just arrived in Japan. Neither Chan nor William saw this as an opportunity either. Their instinctual fear of him had taken over. Not even a gun would make them fearless, though they stood in equal footing with him. Alan had no interest in what they did following the event. This place may come in handy. Not only was it abandoned, but no one else seemed to be squatting there either. It's neither too close nor too far from the city, so that's how you found the warehouse. Is because of her and her married, very upset life. So, was her regret like that she got married or that she didn't get to spend married life with Bill? Sorry, don't mean to swallow into the snowball here. Sorry about that. Should everything check out over the next few days, he would use it as his base of operations. Well, part of me can understand her desperation now, at least. Alan lets his thoughts slip out as he stares at the hotel room ceiling. Uh-huh. Why are you so beat up? 2 hours after I began reading, I've made it through another fifth of the diary, I guess. Well, the diary of a girl living through the end of the Meiji period is interesting in its own right. Structure is inherently different from a novel. That makes the process of reading it pretty tiring. Did come across an interesting tidbit, albeit one unrelated to the Divine Selection. They had a black cat as well. There we go. Lethe. It had a leisurely attitude and seemed to be more attracted to Diana than Linda. It would appear and disappear when it saw fit. By the sounds of it, could have been Lethe's great-great-grandcat. They called the cat Leo, which is pretty similar to Lethe. One diary entry was about how it once stepped on a piece of broken glass, leaving a scar on the paw of its front right leg. Meow. Speak of the devil, it's Lethe. Hey, you should watch out for broken glass. You haven't walked on some already, have you? Meow. Try to approach, but Lethe runs off. Must have sensed something annoying was about to happen. I assume it's fine if it can still sprint like that. You assume it's the same cat. I mean, you're right. Following that, I close the diary and head back to my room. Once in bed, I started to think about what I should do from here on out. Let's put things into perspective. I have 3 main concerns at the moment. Yes. First and most importantly, finding a means for both Maharu and me to survive. Facts. And yet, I've yet to reach a conclusion, but I'm sure that figuring out the mysteries around Divine Selection itself is the right approach. I can't say for sure whether or not I've made any progress until I've finished reading Linda's diary. Linda! Second concern is gathering information on Alan. This is a difficult one as well, especially when I don't understand his goal. I know for a fact that he holds no hostility towards me, but I hardly think he's willing to let me eliminate him just because of that. That's why I need to discuss things with him. I have no way to contact him, but something tells me that he'll come to see me soon. Okay. My third and final concern is Federico. Don't worry, Maharu's got that one. I know both his name and cause of death, but have nothing to go on for his regret. I've never talked to him in person, so that makes things even more difficult. Oh. Huh? Just then I receive a text message. That's a text message sound? I thought that was like a ringing cell phone from like 2005. It's from Maharu. I've gathered all of Federico's information. My shift starts later tomorrow, so do you mind if I come to Linehouse after school? Message itself is short, but I can't help but be amazed at her perfect timing. Text back, that works for me. I figure I could use that time to talk to her about the diary as well. I haven't hit a dead end quite yet. Forcing myself to believe that, I set my mind on getting some sleep. But you also haven't given her an answer. Maybe think of that? When does that happen? Okay, Maharu and I head to Linehouse once classes have ended. Is Naomi not here today? She had something else she needed to do, so I'll fill her in on anything important tomorrow. It's pretty rare for Maharu to ask about Naomi. Divine selection requires us to fight our own fate, so maybe that's changed her perspective on Naomi at some point. There wasn't much to be said to what she said, but I can tell there's a slight difference in her attitude towards her. Anyway, it's just two of us. Rinka. Miles probably told her that I'm waiting a bit longer before giving her an answer, but even then, it still feels a bit awkward to be alone with her. Rinka. Meanwhile, 30 minutes after we arrive at Linehouse, Maharu leaves for work. That's really quick. We didn't discuss much, but she told me how she met with Federico Monday night, and how she was able to deduce his regret from what they talked about. Didn't happen right away, but everything fell into place on Tuesday night, which led to her being able to materialize the card. I didn't ask about the card's contents, but I asked her to fill me in on it later, on the off chance that he's gathering information on me as well. Seems to have no intention of electing me, according to her, but can't hurt to be safe. I made sure to show Maharu the diary, too. Its existence took her by surprise, just as much as it did for me. I told her that I'd pass any worthwhile information over to her once I've done reading it. Just before she left, she offered me her thoughts on it. That diary may just be the trump card we've been searching for. There is no basis to her claim, but I happen to agree. After she left, I opened the store up for business. Aha. Next day? Yep. Morning, Mao. Morning. Blah. Too bad we've got finals looming over us next week. Let's try and ignore that reality. Not to brag, but I haven't studied in the slightest ever since midterms. Midterms weren't much of an issue for me since they happened soon after divine selection began, but same can't be said for finals. I actually considered using my card book to cheat my way through the English exam at least, but only total losers cheat. It's a fact that I don't have the time to study though. So I receive a text message. You're not technically allowed to mess with your phone on campus, but I'll break that rule today. It's from my gran. I heard that finals are coming up. Forget about the store for now and focus on studying. Make sure to send me your results too. Thanks, Gran. Is she psychic? What's up? Get scolded by your gran? How does everybody know what's going on with Rinka? Is she just that much of an open book that everything pops through her face? I don't need you reading my mind as well. A mere employee can't ignore their boss's orders. It's impossible to keep the store going without keeping in contact with her too. Running the store serves as a nice change of pace, so now I'm just depressed. Well, now you have more time to read the diary. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll keep reading the diary as usual, but I guess I can avoid failing if I use the time I normally would on the store for studying. Yep. In the worst case scenario, I'll ignore English and use my card book. No. Bad Rinka. I mean, yes, but your card book actually would come in handy. Regular life sure can be difficult. Yeah, just a bit. So this is Thursday at this point. We're going through the week really quick. Once school has ended for the day, I return home to study. I put up an announcement about how the store will be officially closed until the week after next. Seems like one of my teachers got in touch with my gran after realizing I probably wasn't studying this time around. They're aware of my circumstances at home, so I can understand that they get in contact. No teacher can ignore a student's poor grades. I'll have to keep on top of studying once Divine Selection is over as well. Otherwise, I won't be allowed to keep running the store. Hey, Naomi, mind if we take a break? Of course, I mind. It's barely been half an hour since we started. Okay. Yeah, you sure are strict today. Oh, sorry. It's just, well, didn't quite realize how bad your studying habits are. It was fine during entrance exams because I had a goal, but I can't find the same motivation on the regular tests. That's a bit surprising, actually. Then again, you didn't exactly fare well on those English questions I quizzed you on before. Naomi's doing some considerable damage to my morale today. Not like I can blame her. Her upperclassman is acting pretty pathetic. Maharu has to work today, too. Makes me wonder when she finds the time to study, since she's also got Divine Selection to worry about. Everyone has their own struggles, strengths, and weaknesses. Let's just focus on yours for now. I'll let you take a break after an hour. That's actually not the best. You should break concentration about 15 or 16 minutes after. So, like, switch topics or, like, take a 3 to 4 minute stretch break. It's better to take it in shorter bursts because your mind's able to take it on quicker if you're able to do that. I do it by just focusing in, studying through, and then after about 15 minutes, I just alt-tab and do something else for 2 or 3 minutes. You get back to it, and that's flip back and forth actually helps your brain take enough of a break to encode it. Anyways, okay, let's do this. There's no point in avoiding it, so I decided to stick my head into some books. Just wham! I used to study with Mao a lot during her first year, but we normally ended up just chatting. In that regard, properly studying with someone like this is a pretty novel experience. I don't want to disappoint Naomi either, so I'll focus for at least this first hour. Good job. I knew you could do it. You've earned a little break now. An hour and a half later, Naomi finally offers me entrance to the oasis known as a break. It was supposed to happen at the hour mark, but I couldn't bring myself to mention it when the time came. Knowing her, she probably didn't want to interrupt me because she thought I was focused. Equally admirable and depressing, consider that wasn't the case at all. We spent the break talking and snacking. Topic switches to Divine Selection at some point. I tell her about how Maharu has gathered all of Federico's information and about the diary I found. After mentioning it, I head upstairs to grab it. Why didn't you show her that first? I place it down right beside my card book. It's almost like a before and after comparison. Here it is. Wow, a book over a century old? It really doesn't look the same as your card book too, and it's entirely handmade. No wonder we couldn't find anything about the design. Do you mind if I smell it? Huh? The old book smell, it's a thing. Just a quick whiff. Do I need to put on gloves or something before touching it? I never bothered doing that. Not even while reading it. You might want to treat it with a bit more care. Also, do you mind if I read it once you're done? Sure you want to when I'm gonna talk about the contents after I'm done? That's fine. Reading something this old is thrilling in and of itself. Seeing Naomi this excited is pretty surprising. At the same time, I realize that the diary will be in peril if I leave it here. Back up to my room it goes. She couldn't keep her eyes off of it as I took it away too. Guess it puts just how much she loves books into perspective. Sorry, I got a bit carried away. Back to your normal self, I see. Let's keep studying. That said, we settled for another hour of hitting the books. Okay. Let the person who can read and study quicker than you take a first look at the book. We study until around 8 p.m., taking infrequent but always welcome breaks. I should probably get going now. Naomi starts packing up to leave. She can't stop herself from smiling after learning just how much Rinka dislikes studying. It has no effect on her impression of Rinka, but seeing this side of her has been a nice surprise. To Naomi, the day was endless fun. What's more, a certain desire has continued to blossom within her as the days have gone by. Desire for things to continue like this. For her memories of these days to remain intact. Naomi isn't a participant in divine selection. That's why retaining her memories carries the same value as Rinka and Maharu's survival. There's no end to the burden caused by these feelings of hers. Would you like to study together tomorrow as well? I'd love to. Mao and Maharu might join us too. Rinka gives her answer with a smile. Great! And Naomi responds in kind. That's cute, guys. Meanwhile, after exiting Langhouse, Naomi spots a nearby man muttering to himself. Shock overcomes her the moment she sees his face. Closed for several weeks. This isn't good. It's Alan Scorpion. Numeral 12 in Divine Selection, one of the 4 remaining participants. Naomi has seen him once before at the hospital when dealing with Kikyo. Kikyo? The hospital? Oh, she's crying. The name Kamabuchi Kikyo comes to her mind. To flash back to 2 desperate memories. One involves Naomi collapsing from anemia after paying a visit to the hospital. The other involves going to the hospital with Rinka to approach Kikyo and learn more about her. Following this, she was attacked by Alan, who had the same goal in mind. What's more, the things she'd heard from Rinka are mixed into both memories. The confusion causes Naomi to collapse to her knees. She can feel her mind failing to parse which memory is real and which is fake. Noticing something is amiss, Alan rushes over to her side. He seems to remember her clearly. Are you okay? She cannot comprehend why he's showing concern for her. It might have made sense if he considered her Rinka's underclassman, but the general tone of worry in his voice is confounding. The Alan she is gradually beginning to remember was never this kind. This realization causes her to suffer even more. Rinka's still inside. She somehow fights through the pain to speak. Strangely enough, she doesn't feel that she should keep him away from Linehouse at all costs. Okay. That whole interaction was weird. Around 10 minutes after Naomi leaves, someone else pops into the store. An unexpected person in an unexpected situation to boot. Get a bed and some water ready. Uh-huh? Alan is carrying Naomi, with one arm cradling her neck and the other behind her knees. The surprise fades once I notice that Naomi doesn't seem to be feeling right. This isn't the time to ask questions, so I get some water ready and take her upstairs to my room. The idea of having Alan come into my room isn't all that thrilling, though, so I ask him to wait downstairs. Once I come back down, I notice Alan standing there with a bitter look on his face. How was she? How is she? She's conscious, but it seems like a migraine. I've given her medicine and water, so I'll check back after she rests for an hour. I make sure to call and let her mom know. I tell her that she's sleeping here at the moment due to her not feeling well. Well, thanks for that, I guess. Why did you help her? I noticed her ready to collapse outside the store. I couldn't just ignore her. That's, surprising, in all honesty. Sorry, I thought you were a colder person. Perhaps that's not the wisest thing to say someone who willingly knocks out nurses and eliminates participants without second thought. But now, he's helped both me and Naomi. So I feel comfortable enough to speak my thoughts. You're finally here to discuss things, aren't you? The fact that he's here means he has business with me. I expected him to come, though I didn't think it would be this early. I assumed it would be either Saturday or Sunday. Oh, hey. Indeed. You're a lot less scary in that CG there. I'm here to provide the answers you seek regarding my actions. There was a certain connection I made that night in the hospital when you stood up to me, despite how little you can do. The look in your eyes resembled that of my younger sister's. There's a certain gentleness to his expression as he admits this. I have 5 younger siblings. 4 of them are much younger brothers, but my only sister is just around my age. Okay. You're like 19, so, like, all of these are still youngins there. Her name is Amrita. Unlike me, my siblings continue to use the names our parents gave them. My mind flashes back to something Alan mumbled during his sleep after fighting Odette. Amrita. It was his sister's name. I think I'm saying that wrong. Amrita? Allow me to add that she's far better looking and smarter than you. Hey now. Still, you two are inherently similar. Your strength of will, your tenacity to put yourself at risk by letting your emotions take over. I'm certain that my brothers will grow up to be like me. That much is obvious through both our bond as family and as men. On the other hand, I worry for Amrita. I can only imagine how she will handle work and marriage with that personality of hers. Oh, my card book begins to shine all of a sudden. One card materializes. Sister's future. Having seen the gentle expression he shows from time to time, I'm not very surprised at the card's contents. If anything, it proves how well I've come to understand Alan. Why would you reveal your regret to me? Because I want you to live. But it's fine. This is a decision I've made for myself. I won't give my life for free, though. I want you to shoulder the weight that accompanies it, and finally bring an end to our story. He tells me about his past next. His mother died from an illness when he was still a child, while his father was killed due to a grudge involving shady business practices. Alan soon took over his father's business connections, disregarding both his name and religion in the process. Even his country's traditions soon became a nuisance to him. He built his own business from scratch and turned it into an undeniable success. He's 19! How? Gah! Jeez. Gen Z getting it done. The larger the company grew, the more I sacrificed, the more people I threw by the wayside. I may have changed my name, but I still took after my father when it came to making others hold a grudge against me. Poison was my cause of death. Similar assassination method to that of my father's, ironically enough. There's no change in his tone as he discusses how he was killed. I was about to say, poison either is very fast and sharp or very slow. Both are very agonizing ways to go. Zing. My card book shines once again, materializing his cause of death card. I was about to say, he just gave you everything. He was in, honestly, the best position, because no one knew anything. That's awful. There are far more assassinations covered up the world over than you would expect. The same will likely happen to mine when I'm eliminated. He mentions that he had to deduce his own cause of death after it had been undone. Nobody would know they've been poisoned until after it kicked in, I guess. Yeah. Your each and every action has reminded me of Amrita. From the way you refuse to abandon those in need, to how easily influenced you are. That fierce determination of yours. It came to not only your friend, but your grandmother as well. You wanted nothing but to save them. Isn't that right? But I'm not your sister, Alan. I know that. However, the similarities are undeniable. There's little I can say when I don't know his sister personally. Alan presses on, unconcerned about how perplexing this whole scenario is for me. My thoughts are likely irrelevant to him. This isn't the logical side of Alan talking. These are his emotions. Yeah, that smile in his face. Oh, only for you, Rinka. I don't trust a single person in my company. That's why I've left a letter stating that the next in line would be one of my family. Age-wise, this would fall to Amrita, hence my worry, you see. I'm still not sure how well she will do in a position that involves dealing with the ugliest side to people. I can't imagine someone my age being a CEO. Yeah, I can't imagine someone my age being the CEO of a huge company. Yeah. Alan, you're kind of ridiculous as a concept. I thought the same at first. Meeting you has helped assuage some of my concerns. She's aware of her shortcomings, not entirely blind to her own strength of heart. Much like you. Both of you hold the ability to move others. If you doubt that for even a second, then look no further than myself as proof. People like you will have no issue finding people to whom you can entrust yourselves. His gaze is locked on me as he speaks. Our eyes may be meeting, but it's not me he's looking at. He's using me as a window to see his sister. I'm not nearly as amazing as you were making me out to be. Besides, I don't have it in me to shoulder a responsibility like that in the first place. No matter. I made my decision. Yeah, you have. You kind of already revealed all your info. The company itself may not fare any better in her hands, and she's likely to fail along the way. That's fine, though. I trust that she'll lead it in a different direction than I did. Most importantly, I can't see anyone willing to kill her like they did me. So long as she's able to lead a long and fulfilling life, that's all that matters. Alan. I still have my concerns, of course, but I also have hope now. Surely, you can understand the significance of that? His expression changes once again. It's one I've never seen before. Whoa, unbelievable. Never thought he'd have it in him to express such a brilliant smile. His every word and action in relation to his sister shows just how much he cares for her. I have no parents or siblings to speak of, but I can tell this is how those who do feel about them. What are you smiling for? Don't realize I am smiling until he points it out. He's strict, but kind and reliable. He always seems a bit desperate, despite his intellect. Part of me is envious of Amrita for getting a brother like him. What a weird situation. No reason, I guess. Right. Who'd have thought that I'd ever come to think about him like this? Well, guess it's my fault. I never bothered to try and understand him after what happened at the hospital that day. But he always been kind to me after that, at Shikasugu's home, when he helped me stop you, and even when he saved my gran. I was about to say, he got shot for you. And then he stowed away in a trunk. I'm at fault for never seeing him for who he really was. What happened to seeing how far my mindset could take me? I've already seen it. That's why I'm here now. Alan pauses briefly before posing a question. What will you do about Hibinata Maharu? His question takes me by surprise. Well, not the question itself, but the realization that he truly does understand me. There's no reason for me to hesitate, though. I only have one answer to give. I'll ensure that we both survive. Good. That's what I wanted to hear. Amrita would no doubt say the same. How about some coffee before you go? I can guarantee you'll like it. That sounds good. It's supposed to be a simple offer, but my wording may have given it more weight than intended. I doubt Alan fails to catch it either. Okay, it shouldn't take too long. Going to make this the best coffee I've ever brewed. Oh, guys, that's cute. No words are exchanged as he drinks his coffee. It's not an awkward silence or anything. Words simply aren't needed. Our relationship doesn't extend beyond our status as participants in divine selection. We're not friends, we're not lovers, we're not enemies, we're not even siblings. But that's why this works. I'm not much of a coffee fan, but I'd be lying if I said that wasn't pleasant. Thanks? He pauses, stands, and then continues. It's about time you see how she's doing. Yeah, I was thinking the same. Only you could make the decision to live your life to its fullest while shouldering the lives of others. And anyone else would see them as little more than a burden. I might have thought that way under normal circumstances, but those burdens have helped me realize that I'm not alone. Two people can't comprise the same body, though your belief that you're not alone, despite this, is part of your strength. I'm certain you haven't been alone either. Right, bro? Oh, you guys are cute! Oh, please, for you made it clear that Amrita far outclasses you in every respect. Still, your claim is one I'll have to deny. It wasn't until I accepted your way of life that I was able to trust Amrita. I have a favor I'd like to ask of you. Here it is. Favor. Go ahead. I abandoned my roots in my past when I came to Japan. Thus, I have nothing I can leave to you. In exchange, I ask that you remember not just myself, but the miracle that led to our paths crossing. Aren't you going to see Amrita? That's of no concern to Shizuma Rinka, I believe. I give Alan an understanding nod in response. I'm certain I would have hesitated to elect him had he given me a proper answer, regardless of what it was. She's made sure to put a wall between us. I understand why, though. That's his way of making things easier on both of us. His objective accomplished, he takes his leave. His eyes remain locked on him. My eyes remain locked on him, even as he fades into the darkness outside. It's because I know. I know this is the last time I'll ever see Alan Scorpion in the real world. Ooh, that's a lot. We're gonna pause here. Obviously. This was a lot. I hope you enjoy it. I hope that this recording setup worked for you. I think it's working well. I'm hearing myself fairly well, so let me know your thoughts on all of that, because oh my god. And also give me any of your suggestions for new games to play. I always just love hearing from you. With that, I'll leave you here. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye!